The other day I encountered a man with 12 children, 6 boys, 6 girls. I managed to ask him, how do you get it all done? How do you take care of your kids? Of course his wife was a stay-at-home mom, but he gave me some excellent advice that I would love to share with you. The first thing that he mentioned was time. He said you gotta give them the proper timing. You've gotta give them the certain hours that they need so they feel like they're special. I personally know that time is attention and attention is love. If you put your attention on your kids, on your friends, on your family members, eventually they're going to feel like you love them. So give them as much time as you can so they can feel like they're special. I asked this man, how do you know which child needs the most time? He said to me, whichever one is crying first or whichever one is fussy typically needs the most time. So I asked him, well, what do you do with the other ones who aren't showing that they need the time by crying and complaining? He said, well, I gotta give them as much time as possible so they all feel like I'm giving them what they want. I asked him if he had a time management system for his kids, and he did. When he came home at 6 o'clock, his wife had already sent him a report of what the kids were doing, and she writes a letter every day to him, so by the time he comes home, he knows exactly what they've done and he asks them about it at the dinner table. From 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. or 4 hours, he gives them all the attention in the world, and from 10 to 12, he goes to sleep most of the time. The second tip that this successful father gave me is to give them everything that they want. He said that when he deals with his children, they have to feel like they have the whole entire world. He told me kids always feel like they can own anything until you tell them that they can't. It made me think of whenever I was a kid. When I would go anywhere, I would always ask my parents for ice cream or cookies or candies of all different kinds. And they would tell me no for whatever reason. It made me feel like I wasn't worthy, or I was inadequate, or I couldn't get exactly what I wanted. He said that if you give them exactly what they want, they will feel like they own the world and they can ask for anything that they can ever want in their lives. He told me that he faces a lot of criticism for this. Because he gives his kids what they want, people always ask him all the time or even tell him that he's spoiling his children. Why are you spoiling your children, they ask. And he says, I'm not spoiling my children at all. I'm making them feel like they're invincible, like they're unstoppable, like they live in an unlimited world. What an excellent perspective. The third tip he gave me was to get feedback. He said he likes to engage with his wife to understand how the family dynamics are going. He said he asked them this question: on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about our relationship right now? If she says 8, he's going to follow up with the question, what can we do to make it a 10? And she will make as many suggestions as possible. Of course I had to ask him if he does it for all of his children. Do you really ask all your children how you're doing as a father on a 1 to 10 scale? He says that's the only way I can know. He said I give them all crayons and I tell them to rate me. Some of them of course need pencils and pens, but they give me the feedback. And last night I got an 8.4, but I know exactly what I need to do for tomorrow to get a perfect 10. Keep in mind that this feedback technique can also work outside of your family. It can work with your friends. It can work with your own performance. It can work with almost everything if you used it correctly. Of course, 10 would be the highest and 1 would be the lowest. So if you want to get a 10 out of 10 experiences, you have to evaluate them, because what gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed gets mastered. The fourth and last tip that this amazing father gave me was to always be kind. He said because he has 12 kids, it's easy to take them for granted, especially the older ones. Because his oldest child was 14, and because they can do anything they want virtually, he said it's easy to neglect them. But if he's kind to them and gives them the proper treatment that they all need, they all feel like he's an excellent father. There are many times where we might want to be kind, but we're inadvertently rude, or we rub people the wrong way because we're thinking about ourselves. He said what we need to do is to love everyone, and the only way we can do it is by loving ourselves. When we love ourselves, we can pass our love to everyone we meet along the way. If you want to love your family at the highest level, make sure you give them what they want. Give them the time, get some feedback from them, and always be kind. If you do, you will become just like this excellent father and raise your beautiful children. Because we're all a family, make sure you reach out and connect with me. Leave a comment, follow me on other social medias, and also leave a like and subscribe to my channel so I can give you so much more. Let's stay connected because we're family.